Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something bigger than just ticking boxes off a to-do list. We're diving into a really powerful idea: how to stop trying to manage time and actually start managing yourself.
I mean, you know that feeling, right? That sense that your day is just one long reaction, putting out fires, answering emails, jumping from meeting to meeting. And at the end of it all, you're left wondering, wait, who's actually in charge here? It's like you're not steering your own ship, you're just a passenger getting tossed around by the waves.
So to get to the bottom of this, our first stop is to totally deconstruct one of the biggest myths in the entire world of productivity. And that's the whole idea of time management itself.
Okay, so here's the thing. This points to a massive flaw in how we've all been taught to think. For decades, we've been hammered with this idea: manage your time. But think about it. You can't actually manage time. It's a physical constant. It doesn't care about your schedule. A day has 24 hours, period. No app, no planner, no fancy trick is ever going to change that.
And that brings us to this really powerful shift in thinking. On one side, you have the old way, time management, which is all about wrestling with this external thing you can't control, trying to cram more and more into a box that's never getting bigger. But on the other side, that's where the magic happens. That's self-management. It's not about the clock, it's about steering the resources you can control: your energy, your focus, your actions. The goal isn't just doing more things, it's about doing the right things and doing them well.
All right, so let's dig into this shift a little deeper, because honestly, this is where you start to take back the steering wheel.
You know, self-management is way more than just having a tidy desk or a color-coded calendar. It's really the skill of consciously, intentionally directing your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. It's about being the architect of your life, not just someone watching it happen.
And look, this isn't some fuzzy, abstract concept. We're talking about a system built on 4 rock-solid pillars. You've got goal setting, so you know where you're going. You've got planning, so you have a map to get there. You've got motivation to fuel the journey. And then, this is so important, you have reflection. That's your feedback loop to keep getting better. It's a whole engine for effectiveness.
And you know who was way ahead of the curve on this? The absolute legend, Peter Drucker. He said this decades ago, and it's never been more true than it is right now. In today's world, you are responsible for being your own boss. You have to be the one setting the strategy, making the tough calls, and keeping the whole operation productive. You're the CEO of You, Inc.
Okay, so that's the big picture, the why. But enough theory, right? Let's get to the really good stuff. It's time to open up the toolbox, because this next part is all about practical, hands-on models you can start using, like, today.
So we're going to tackle 2 huge challenges that I think everyone faces. First, when you've got a million things screaming for your attention, how on earth do you decide what to do first? And then, second, once you've picked that one important thing, how do you actually focus and get it done without getting pulled in 100 different directions? And for that first question, we're pulling out a timeless classic, and it's a classic for a reason. This is the Eisenhower matrix. It is just a brilliantly simple way to sort through the chaos. All you do is ask 2 simple questions for every single task on your list. Is this important, and is this urgent? That's it. And based on your answers, everything finds its place in one of these 4 boxes.
So the matrix gives you 4 crystal clear commands. You've got the urgent and important stuff, the crises, you just do those now. Then there's the urgent but not important stuff, the interruptions, you try to delegate those. The stuff that's neither urgent nor important, that's just noise, you eliminate it. But listen up, because this is the real secret to getting ahead. The gold mine is in quadrant B, the important but not urgent stuff. This is your long-term growth, your strategic projects. You have to be ruthless about scheduling this work before the urgent stuff takes over your entire life.
All right, so you've used the matrix. You've identified your big, important task from quadrant B. Awesome. But now for challenge number 2, how do you actually protect your focus so you can do deep, meaningful work on it? Well, this leads us to a really fascinating, research-backed rhythm for work. It's called the 52-17 method.
Yeah, so it turns out the most productive people on the planet don't just grind for 8 hours straight. That's a myth. What they actually do is work in intense, focused sprints. And the 52-17 method is all about that rhythm. For 52 minutes, you are completely locked in. We're talking laser focus on one thing. Phones are off, notifications are silenced, extra browser tabs are closed, just pure, deep work.
And this is the absolute magic ingredient, after that 52-minute sprint is done, you take a full 17-minute break. And I mean a real break, not just checking social media. Get up, step away from the screen, go for a short walk, stretch, grab some water. This is not being lazy. This is a strategic recharge. It's what allows your brain to recover so you can come back just as strong for the next sprint.
Now look, these tools, the Eisenhower matrix, the 52-17 method, they're amazing, but they only work if you can do one crucial thing: protect your time and energy. And that brings us to what might be the most underrated skill of all: the power of setting boundaries.
We need to completely reframe how we think about this. Setting a boundary is not you being selfish. It's not you being difficult. It's an act of self-respect. It's you saying, my focus and my energy are my most valuable resources, and I'm going to protect them so I can do my best work on the things that actually move the needle.
And the benefits are huge. When you set clear boundaries, you're building a wall against burnout and constant stress. You actually improve your relationships, both at work and at home, because everyone knows where they stand. And of course, you boost your focus, your productivity, and that amazing feeling of being in control.
Okay, so as we start to wrap things up here, let's bring it all back home. With all these tools and ideas, where's the actual starting line? Where does this journey of real self-management actually kick off?
Well, here's the truth. The best system for you isn't one you're going to download from the App Store. It's one you have to build from the inside out. It all starts with plain old self-awareness. Really understanding your own rhythms. When do you have the most energy? What do you actually value? What are you great at? And what are you not so great at? That self-knowledge is the bedrock. It's the foundation you build everything else on.
I know, we've covered a lot. Models, pillars, new ways of thinking. It can feel like a lot to take in all at once. So that brings me to one final, and I think most important question for you to chew on.
So what's that single most important step you can take to begin? It's just deciding to start. But here's the key. Don't start because your boss wants you to be more productive or because you feel this pressure to hustle. Start because you know you are worth it. Because you recognize that taking charge of yourself is the single greatest investment you can ever make in your own happiness and your own success. Thanks for joining me.